Thank you, Presiding Officer, and congratulations to Gillian Martin in bringing this important topic to us today. But particularly, I thank those who've helped to brief me. Barrister Annabel Turner came to see me yesterday and briefed me on behalf of the International Justice Mission. It's worth having a wee think about what they're about. She, like many of the people who work for them, professionally qualified, providing services to that organisation entirely pro bono, without any financial benefit accruing to them. And it's indicative of a caring society that people are prepared to do that. But this is a subject which will quite properly motivate people to do their very best to deal with it. Cybersex trafficking is not an easy subject to discuss. The people involved are very nasty people indeed. But I, until comparatively recent times, in my constituency, had at Peterhead Prison, Scotland's serious sex offenders prison. Sex offenders sentenced to 4 years or more in prison, 300 or so of them in my constituency in a prison, essentially cut off from friends, family and people elsewhere. And it's worth having a little think about those people who were in that prison. They're a quite different kind of criminal from the kind of criminal you would meet if you go to Socht and if you go to Barlinnie. Much cleverer, much more socially competent, much more convincing. They're able to use their social skills and their knowledge and their expertise to perpetrate their foul crimes. They're able to suck in other people to protect them, to create a cocoon around their offending behaviours. I know of one particular sex offender who was in Peterhead Prison, whose parents were so convinced of their son's innocence that before the police arrived at a particular locus, the parents had been cleaning the blood off the walls and repainting rooms. And these were parents whom you wouldn't have thought were the most upright members of society, but caught by the duplicity of a criminal involved in sexual abuse. Not online, in the particular case that I'm talking about. Now, we've heard some references, most recently by Finlay, about technical measures that we might take. It is worth saying that we could get ISPs, all our traffic goes through internet service providers, to look at the traffic that's going through and detect what's happening. But the honest and unfortunate truth is that simply won't work. Because if you encrypt what's going through, you don't know what's in the encrypted package. And yet encryption is an important part of protecting certain kinds of data on the internet, so we can't ban it on the internet. It simply isn't possible. I suspect, Presiding Officer, that we're back to the Al Capone approach. Al Capone was a gangster in Chicago in a very, very corrupt city for some 7 years, until in 1931 it was concluded the only way to get him was that he hadn't paid his tax bills on his ill-gotten gains. And I think that's the one way that we might be able to make some progress, and that is to track the money and where it's going, because it's difficult to transmit money without there being a mechanism for doing so. I'll just leave, and there isn't time to go into the issue of Bitcoin and chains that go with that. But even there, it should be possible. I too very much respect what's being done by the Internet Watch Foundation, taking down sites as they do. But what we have to do is get right back to the genesis of these sites and make it economically inviable for them to do it. I met Christoph Clausen, as I think others did last week from the IWF, and was very interested in what he has to say. I've no magic solution, none of us here do, but I think having a debate like this at least alerts us to the problem. That is a good start, and I commend Gillian for bringing it to our attention, allowing us to explore this important topic. Presiding Officer.